Yo, we are back for part two. I think today we're gonna talk about. Have you actually had any weird encounters?
Very many.
Oh.
Tons.
What's the most memorable one?
Ooh, probably my first one, actually.
Your first one?
Yeah, my first weird encounter. I was maybe 2 weeks, maybe a month into tattooing.
Oh.
So I was taking in every walk and every person that came in.
Okay.
And a mom walked in with 3 kids. One kid was her daughter, and she came in with bandages around her wrists.
Oh.
I walk in, and when you're an apprentice, you don't just tattoo, but you deal with clients, even if they're not yours. So you always go to the top, and you're like, how may I help you? What are you looking for? Stuff like that. So I go up, I'm like, how may I help you today? She's like, yeah, I just picked up my daughter from the hospital from trying to kill herself. So I told her if I'm going to be downtown anyways, I might as well get a tattoo.
What?
Already. Insane start. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Okay.
So what do you want to do? She wanted like something small on her collarbone, like a word or an affinity, something simple and small. So I get it drawn up. We start doing it. I put it on. And I tattoo pretty close. I like to see my needle. I like to see everything, making sure everything's good. So I'm tattooing on her collarbone, and she's breathing heavy. And I'm like, and usually that's not like a bad sign. But I was like asking, like, are you good? Do you need to take a break? She's like, yeah, I'm good.
I'm good.
You just get me hot and heavy. And I'm like, what?
Hey, yo. Hey, yo.
And then she starts looking at me with like, fuck me eyes.
Huh?
Yeah.
Hey, yo.
And then her daughter, still with her bandages around her wrist, and her 2 friends, they come around and they're like, mommy and artist sitting in a tree, KISSING, while I'm tattooing her mom. And yeah, it was so fucking weird. And then they leave, and that was it.
That was it?
That was it. It was weird as hell.
I don't think I've ever encountered anything like that, bro.
Yeah. But no, I've had other weird encounters. Like, I've been groped during sessions. I've been asked out on dates during a session. Yeah, very. I've had people. I've been where I'm tattooing a couple, like the women, and their partners getting obsessed or mad that I'm tattooing them.
Yeah.
Or trying to, I guess, like, demean me.
Yeah.
Like,
just downplay everything.
yeah, downplay the whole thing. Like, oh my, I could do that. Blah blah blah. I tattooed one girl, and her boyfriend was just watching over my shoulder, like every move I made, and basically overprotective. I hate those type of clients, but yeah.
Huh.
So I've had very many weird encounters.
Had any very weird encounters.
But for the most part now, everyone's pretty cool. No one does anything much.
you just sit there and take it.
Yeah.
So there's like one or two ways, right? People just either talk to you the entire session or just like don't do their own thing, right?
Usually, I have a lot of clients who just bring in headphones. They watch movies, and when I first started, I always wore headphones. Just I like to focus. Now I don't. I just I put on my music on the speaker. I sing to my clients. I talk. I make conversations now to them. But when I first started, I never made a conversation. Like, I could go through the whole session not knowing their name, what they did for a job, where they were from, nothing like that. So now I actually talk to them. And I have some clients who just bring in headphones, watch movies, and I have other clients who talk the full 8 hours. So it just depends on the client.
So now to the point where you've made 6 figures like the last year, so now to this year, do you still take on like the small projects, like the little name tats, the lions, the roses, all that stuff?
Yeah, not as common anymore.
Not as common?
I take them on every once in a while just to practice the basics, just to, I guess,
sharpen up?
Yeah, sharpen the techniques. Also, just, I guess, as not being humble, but not forgetting where I started.
I love that.
Because those walk-ins
are what started.
are what got me to where I am today. So
that's a good way to think about it, because I was like, Pretty sure. Oh, well, maybe not the lion one because you do realism. But I would think to myself, I'd get bored of like tattooing like the rose, the butterfly, like it's over and over. But that's a good way to think about it. But now for all those small, big, medium tats, like how do you handle DMs, bro? Like I'm pretty sure you are like flooded, bro.
Yeah, I have like probably over 1,200 messages in total.
Mr. Popular over here, man.
I don't delete any notification relating to work off my phone. That way, at some point within the week, I can at least go through them and do that. And then every couple weeks, I'll go through messages I might have missed, might have gone deleted, because when you get so many notifications, your phone will start deleting the old ones on itself. So I usually go back through and kind of try and get to everyone. Some people I may miss, some people, they double text me. If I don't reply within a day, I'm like, bro, just give it. I tell all my clients now, just give me a week. I reply to everyone or try to. So just give it a week.
I try, bro. Like I feel the same now. There's so many DMs to get through, and it's just like you have to go in chronological order. Like the very beginning people that hit you up, you kind of have to make your way down to them first. But then all the new guys keep spamming, so it goes up to the first row. I was like, I'm not answering that. There's what? Oh. When you're tattooing like the cringy areas or the cringy parts, how do you feel? Like the bones and like the cartilage stuff. Like do you like cringe a little or you're
not really?
Or you're unfazed?
The cringiest part is probably the knee.
Oh yeah.
The knee, that's probably the cringiest part.
That hurts so bad, dude.
And either the knee or even the back of the knee. The back of the knee hurts like hell.
Don't worry. My leg when I was getting tatted, I was like, because it's my nerve, right? I'm just going.
Yeah, when I got the back of my knee done, it took everything in me not to just kick everything.
Dude, I was hugging that tattoo chair because I'm on my stomach, right? I'm like,
I had a pillow, a blanket, and I made dents into the wood board. Yeah, from squeezing it so hard. Yeah, I was in pain. That shit hurt.
He's booked out till 2026, guys. So, what does your schedule look like in the later half, bro? You gonna go on any travels? Because he recently just came back from the Philippines.
So, I had Philippines in January, Missouri 2 weeks ago. In 2 weeks, I go to KC. Then, in May, I go to Seattle. June, I go to Utah. Or, is it Utah? Yeah, Utah. All of August, I'll be in Alaska. Then I come back and I'll do, I might do New Orleans in September and then Japan in November.
Japan in November with the boys, bruh. So we're gonna go.
And then I might be going back to the Philippines in January. So.
How was that experience, bro? Because I think that was your first trip internationally out, right?
Yeah, that was my first international trip. I had to get a passport and everything. It was actually insane. So the flight is there is 12 hours. The flight's back 8, but the flight there is 12 hours. But you land a day and a half later because of the time change.
Time zone. Yep.
So it was weird because we landed in South Korea first, and they don't have any English. They don't have any English signs or anything.
Oh my!
They have arrows. And and little for the English speakers, they have little pictures.
Because in Japan they have like the subways that also speak English, but also Google Maps is like primed for it. Like you won't get lost. Like you actually know where to go.
Yeah, no, South Korea doesn't have any of that.
Yeah, so for South Korea you have to download like specific apps to be able to tell you things.
It was,
and even then it's still half Korean.
And I didn't know that. So in South Korea we had to do a transit to go from South Korea to the Philippines. And I didn't know, but they were asking so many questions, like, how long are you going to be here? Why are you here? What do you have? How much money are you bringing in? I'm like, this is for work. Like, who cares? So, but then you're trying to do all that. And then our flight from the South Korea to Cebu, which is in the Philippines, is 4 to 5 hours. Our plane didn't take off for 2.5 hours because of technical issues. And then in the midst of all that, it rained. It was cloudy, storms, all that. So we had to wait for all that to let up. Yep. So my 5 hour flight from there ended up being 7 hours. So I land at 1 a.m. in Cebu. They don't have any stoplights, street lights. They have maybe a couple main streets where there's actual like street lights, but everything else is just open. They don't have any road laws.
No, it's just like Vietnam.
Yeah.
Everybody does whatever the hell
Yeah.
they want, bro. Mopeds, everything.
Mopeds, motorcycles, tons of taxis for whatever reason.
No accidents.
No accidents.
No accidents, bro.
And everyone's honking.
Yes.
Everyone's honking.
Everybody is honking is okay over there. It is aggressive as they want.
And no one wears a seatbelt.
Yes. No one wears a seatbelt.
They
have the little hook
yeah,
thing.
They have
Yes,
the little hook.
yes. Because in Vietnam, when I was ordering some taxis around, bro, they would just give me the thing and just put it there,
Yeah.
so it would stop bothering like
I
the
drove,
ring.
and I went to put on my seatbelt. And he's like, "Why are you putting that on?" I'm like, "Because I'm about to get hit. I feel like." He's like,
hit?
"Nope." I'm like, "What?"
Did you ever get food poisoning over there?
No, thank God. Thank God I did not. I never tried any of the street food. I always went to a restaurant. The street food, I was always too nervous. Not even the the people that just walk around with the water. I never drank from those. I always made sure it was from at least a restaurant that I got it, or from a store.
Just make sure it's bottled, bro. I didn't know that, so I took my first one. I was out, and I was trying to look for some Pepto-Bismol over there. They do not have Pepto-Bismol over there, okay? They do not have Pepto-Bismol in Vietnam, and I was like,
They don't have regular milk.
yes, they don't have that shit.
I got Oreos and what I thought was milk.
Shit was not milk. Whatever it was, bro. Whatever it was.
Milk in a, what is it? Like a glass bottle, but it's like fermented. It's like it's like sour. It tastes sour. But there's a little picture of a cow.
Yes, I can't think of the name of that, but.
And they don't have Oreos out there.
You know, okay. But the medicine side, so I was in Japan, and I was like uber sick. So this is my third time going to Japan, and I was like uber sick. They had to make sure I was sick to even give me the pills. Like my friends went into the medical store or whatever, like the drug store. They're like, our friend very sick, like translation. And they're like, we cannot give it unless we see him. Like, so they dragged my ass out of the Airbnb, and we walked all the way over there just for me to like cough and hurl and all that dumb shit. And then I came back with my pills, because that day it was terrible. But because I didn't want to ruin the whole trip, so we were just like chugged a bunch of pills and continued on the next day, like just chugged along.
Yeah, in Cebu, there's a whole neighborhood of just medicine. You got doctors, medicine, pharmacies, just a whole row of them.
Yeah.
And that's what it's known for. And then you have it's very weird because you have your very poor parts, like tons of homeless people, homeless kids even. And like we saw like a 3-year-old with no clothes on, just a big t-shirt, and that was it. No socks, no shoes, no underwear, nothing. No pants. And yeah, no parents, nothing. It was just him and a bunch of other kids around his age just running around asking people for change. And then at night, you go downtown and it's the complete opposite. Millionaires in Cebu. Nightclubs. Like one of the artists that we know, he owned the biggest nightclub in Cebu. We got VIP, and that shit was incredible. But he was like known for being like a celebrity in Cebu.
Yeah.
And that shit was insane to see.
See, it pays to travel, guys. Like learn culture, learn outside of it. But I think what would you say for a beginner? Like starting out, like what would they do? Like, cause I think we talked off camera a little bit. So he was talking about me like getting the machine as a make or break. So like if you get a terrible machine, like your tattoo's not gonna end well. So like, can you explain more on that?
Yeah. So when you first start, you don't have the best techniques. You don't really know. So the thing that can help, at least with some parts, is your equipment. If if you get if you're going into any cyber type technology type stuff, you want the best equipment to do that to start out with. And then once you learn the ins and outs of it, then you can go down and your ins and outs of the worst equipment. So when you have a good machine, something preferably not off Amazon or the gas station downtown
Timu.
that sells the DIY kits.
Yes, don't do that.
Try to find a actual reputable tattoo supply store from their actual website. There's not, at least not here, there isn't any tattoo shops or tattoo supply stores in person. It's all online. And if you have a bad machine, it could short circuit, which is horrible. It could just break. It could not work at all. And overall, you might think that your tattoo, you don't know how to tattoo when it could just be your machine. True. Same with needles. Don't buy needles that you just see off the gas station or your friends or, a sewing needle. Find a reputable tattoo supply store that sells good needles that are FDA approved. I believe it's FDA approved, and they're checked by professionals. Because needles, you have to look under microscopes, make sure they're not rigid, make sure none of the needles are bent. Because if you have a needle bent and it gets into your skin, the skin will pull up, causing infections, like scars. Hook. Yeah. So you just have to be smart about it. They're worth money. They're worth a lot of money. Like machines, like I think the cheapest one you'll probably find is $900 on average, anywhere between $1,200 to $1,500 for a good machine. It's worth the investment.
How would you go about I've always wondered this, so this is more of a personal question, but the pressure, on how to put on it, because I know if you go too deep, that's a blowout, right?
Yeah. So if you go
how
too
do
deep,
you just
if you
know?
go too deep, you spread the ink throughout the whole skin, and it looks like a big ass bruise. And then if you don't go deep enough, your tattoo fades out completely. And so,
there's 3 layers, right?
Yeah, 3 layers. 3 layers, 3 main layers, 2 sub layers, so total of 5 layers in the skin. And you want to go into that middle layer, but not too deep into the middle layer, because you have.
Come on, scientist.
God, I gotta go and I gotta think all these words.
Come on, man, cook it up. No, I'm just kidding. But I understand there's 3 layers, but then the reason why it's in the middle layer is so it absorbs because it just sits there, right?
The last layer, the 3rd layer, is the fat layer, and fat just spreads it. Fat will just spread it. That 2nd layer is the strongest part, and that's what kind of holds everything together. And if you go into those 2 sub layers, the top one and the bottom one, if you go into that bottom one, if the tattoo gets hit hard enough while it's healing, that ink could just fall through that sub layer into the fat layer. And then if it's too light into that first sub layer, then if something is in the good layer, the correct layer, then you'll notice a big difference of lightness, and it'll need to be touched up. So it takes practice. Everyone's skin thickness is different. Darker colored people have thicker skin, so you might have to go a bit deeper. Whereas if you're really light, then you have really thin skin, so you don't have to go as deep.
Okay.
Same with if you're out in the sun a whole lot, your skin builds up that thickness to survive from the UV rays, so you have to go in a bit harder and a bit harsher than someone who just let's say they work in an office all day and they don't get enough sun.
Yeah.
So everyone's skin is different. You usually start out for the first 5 to 15 minutes of tattooing, you try and get used to the skin that they have, and then you go from there.
Is the myth true or not that color hurts more than...
No. Completely false.
Wait, does outlining hurt more than shading, though? See?
That's more personal.
It's just personal pref?
For me, lining hurts way worse.
It does, dude, because it has to be deep lined out. Where shading is lighting.
But some people they say the shading hurts because you have
multiple needles.
And so it's more personal preference. Same with color. People think color hurt for whatever reason. It's the same as black. Same as white. White doesn't hurt any more than color. White doesn't hurt any more than just the black shading. But white hurts because people do it at the very end, and they're going back over things they've already tattooed that they've let sit for hours on end. If you get a 30-minute tattoo and they have white it's not gonna feel any different than the rest of the tattoo.
How do you go about like a long project? Do you break it up into like a certain amount of hours? I mean, you get paid by the hour, so regardless of that, but it's like your physical like wellness. Like you like I'm trying to find the word for it, but like how do you go about that? So let's say you're doing like a whole back piece. Like how would you break that up?
Okay, so like a whole back piece, I'll start with the part I want to start with the most.
Valid.
Make it at least fun for me.
Yes.
So like if it's on, let's say it's on the forearm, it's a face, and like a car at the bottom. I'll do the car. I'll work my way up. I do the face very last because that'll be the fun part for me. But if it's a whole back, that's going to be anywhere between 6 and 12 sessions. I'm going to start with the face. Do all my blacks. Get all those shapes in. If it's something pretty easy, I'll lightly outline everything. But usually I just start with the face, finish that off, and then I can work everything else. I'll have one sessions where I do the boring stuff, others where I do the fun stuff.
Space it out.
Like that. So keep it mentally not exhausting, mentally fun for me.
Did you have to learn that through trial and error, or
yeah.
or did you just like, was there a tattoo that you just did like a full blown like 12, 13 hours on, and then finally learned like fuck that, I want to space shit out?
Yeah, no, there's times where I do like a whole forearm and I start with the face first, and I'll take the 3-4 hours, and then the rest of the 3-4 hours I'm bored out of my mind. I'm like, damn, I just want to get this tattoo.
I just want to get done.
With. And so when you first start, you want to rush through the boring stuff. So, and that's what I did a lot of, unfortunately. So I kind of had to learn to start with the boring stuff first, so you could do the fun stuff at the end, and you'll take your time more on the boring stuff when you first start. And then as you get later on into the session, when you start something that's more fun, you'll take your time on it and do it like that. So you kind of keep the same pace throughout the whole tattoo instead of doing the fun part, taking your time on it, and then rushing through the boring stuff because you just want to get the tattoo done and over with, since you've already done the part you wanted to do the most.
Run in strides, guys. Run in strides. What was your longest session? Like one time, like sit down, one session. Yes.
10 hours. Yeah, 10 hours.
Was it hell?
I did honestly. I didn't even realize it.
Oh.
It was
one of those tats.
Yeah, I was like lost in the moment because it was a cathedral window, and it was a whole bunch of patterns, a whole bunch of shapes. So I had to do every window individually. It was like a close-up photo of it. So I had to do everything individually. I couldn't just make the illusion of everything being the same. I had to make everything the same. So 10 hours of just doing that. Yeah. It flew by, honestly, but
oh my goodness.
I was sleeping in the next day.
If you guys want to book in 2026, he has a portfolio. He has a contact form. I'll have it down below. But I will save the rest for part 3, because this was fun. And I want to milk this shit. I'm just kidding. Milk it, what? But we'll probably do a part 3 at some point.
You sound like a cow.
Yeah, man. Moo. But I'll catch y'all later. Peace.